everyone, so happy Thanksgiving. I'm currently in my kitchen right now. It smells like turkey. I want to eat it, and it's really early in the morning, so I hope the lighting's okay. But what we're doing is we're going to make pumpkin puree from scratch. So this is a Cinderella pumpkin. It's called a Cinderella pumpkin kind of obviously for the reason that it looks like Cinderella's pumpkin. And I did want to say that I know it's easy to get like one of these, which is just pumpkin pie mix from scratch, or just better yet, I bought this by accident actually. I was supposed to buy pumpkin puree, so always make sure, because that one doesn't come with all the cinnamon and sugar inside. You could customize it however you want. So this is what that looks like. It's kind of flat, really cute, really pretty colors. So what I've kind of gone ahead and gotten started because it's really early, but this is gonna take a while to cook. And sometimes you can actually bake the entire pumpkin in the oven, but you don't want to do that because that's going to take you hours, where this you just put a little more effort and just peel the pumpkin, dice it up, and then you could cook it and it cooks faster. So what I've done is I've just gone ahead and cut the pumpkin, which is actually pretty easy, with just like a regular knife, and then you peel it with a peeler. I just left this so I could show you how easy it actually is. So to take that intimidation out, it's pretty easy. It took me about 30 minutes to do this whole thing. I did have helping hands, but I'm not gonna say get the kids involved because this could be dangerous. But be careful when you do this. But I mean, you could see how easy it is. It takes me like a minute to do a single segment. So I would suggest the pumpkin has ridges, right? So it'll be round ridge, round ridge. I would suggest cutting the segments in the ridges so that you won't have a hard time getting around with your peeler. So basically that's what I'm gonna do. Let me clean my space, and then I'm just going to take a segment, which I have like bowls and bowls over here, but I'm just gonna take a segment. This is one, and it doesn't really matter how you cut it. I'm just going to cut it into fours, and then I'm going to chop it up in these little cubes. And the smaller you cut it, obviously the faster it's going to cook. But the way I'm going to cook it is at my local kitchen supply store. He told me, yeah, I make pumpkin puree all the time from scratch. That's how I make my pumpkin pie. Once I did that, I never go back. And so he kind of inspired me to do it this way, because I mean, I know it's a little more time consuming, but I'm in charge of dessert always. So I want to bring something, you know, completely homemade. I don't want to buy my pie mix. I don't want to buy my pie dough. So he said all he did was, he didn't even peel it, but I don't really want to rely on that because let's say the pumpkin skin doesn't come off by itself like he said his does. I really don't want my guests to be eating like tough pumpkin skin. So I just peeled it and then dice it small. And he said all he does is just cube it small as possible and then do it stovetop. So you don't even need to put this in the oven. But I mean, you can, like along with your turkey, and just keep an eye on it, because this should take even like an hour versus the 8 hours it would take to do an entire pumpkin. So you don't have to do it perfect, just do it roughly the same size so they all cook at the same time. And I wouldn't even season it. I would probably just put a little bit of oil, mix it up, and then go from there. So you kind of get the idea of what I'm doing. I'm going to, I haven't decided if I'm going to do the stovetop yet, or if I'm going to do this, just put it in the oven with my turkey. But the point is that you want to get this cooked all the way. If you put it in the oven, you want to mix it like every, I don't know, 30 minutes or something. Maybe it'll take you an hour. So mix it halfway and check on it. And then once, like kind of like a sweet potato, once it looks cooked and the texture is cooked and you could just poke right through it with a knife or fork, it's done. And then all you do is you put it in a blender. Maybe you could even use a potato masher, but I'm going to put it in my blender and I'm just going to see how that turns out, and then I'll show you when we come back what the consistency is of the cooked puree. Okay, so it's been about 25-30 minutes, and this is what our pumpkin looks like. This is just its natural juices that it let out. I've basically been steaming it in this big pot. It's cooked down because it was like a mound before. But I've stirred it maybe 4 times, and some of them are coming apart on their own, but some of them are still holding their shape, so not all of it is cooked. I did cut them all about the same size, but some of the parts, like this one, it was just a little rougher. It was a little rougher than the other parts. I think it was ripening, and it wasn't, you know, some part was like really ripe, some parts weren't that ripe, but they should, I think we'll be done in another 10 minutes. So I just wanted to show you the process. This is what it looks like. I'm probably going to drain a lot of this liquid because I don't see how that would work out in my pie. But I'm going to drain a lot of the liquid, and then I'm going to puree it. I'll show you the final step. Okay, so this is pretty much, we're done. I just turned it off. Just mixing it, it kind of falls apart on its own. And then, like, let's say you see a whole piece. Like, let's say this whole piece right here, right? It's kind of whole. I'll bring it across the wall, and then I'll squish it, and if it just breaks in half or it like comes apart, you could tell it's done. I've done that with several already, and that pretty much tells me we're done. It kind of looks like soup at this point. Maybe you can even like use chicken broth to boil the pumpkin and make like pumpkin chicken soup or something. Possibilities are endless. Anyway, so I'm gonna let this cool. I'm gonna drain some of the liquid, and then I'm going to put it in my blender. Your puree, and let me show you what it looks like up close. It looks like that. It's just pumpkin puree. It looks like hot orange applesauce, but I didn't use all of it. I know I'm not going to need all of this for the pie, but I am going to use it for something else. What you can do with the liquid that you discard, if you want pumpkin simple syrup, you just need to use 1 part water to 2 parts sugar and just boil it down, and you'll have pumpkin simple syrup. Maybe you could put in your coffee or on top of desserts or whatever. But that's how you make your puree. Just apply this to your favorite pumpkin pie recipe. Which maybe I'll share that with you too. Just apply it to your favorite pumpkin pie recipe or muffins. I'll actually link a muffin that I did that tastes really good. And let me know if you have any questions, and that's about it. Easy pumpkin puree. Okay, so it's getting hotter in the day for some reason. It's really sunny and like really dry heat. Maybe it's because I'm in the oven and I haven't realized. But I want to show you another way you could do the pumpkin. This is just another Cinderella pumpkin. I'm doing something else with that, so let me move that aside. Okay, so let's say this is a pumpkin. Like, this is the size pumpkin you buy, which is kind of easier because this way you could just quarter it, which means just cut it like this, and again like this, and if you want, even like into wedges, and then you just don't do anything to it. Can you guys see that? This light must be really annoying. You just put them face down on a parchment paper cookie sheet or like a silicone mat, and then you just bake them for 350 degrees Fahrenheit for, let's say, 30 to 40 minutes. But really check on it on that 30-minute mark, and even rotate it like 20 minutes in because you know, you don't want to burn like one side and the other side's raw. And you don't even have to peel them. You just need to cut them into quarters, scoop out the middle with like a spoon, face them down and it'll cook, and then the skin just peels right off. I didn't have any little pumpkins, so I had to resort to the Cinderella pumpkin. That's why I had to like go through all the work of chopping it up, which by the way, this is like only a fraction. The rest is cooking. I'm gonna cook this in another way, but it's only a fraction of what I had. Now that's one idea you could do with a little pumpkin. What I'm gonna do here is I'm just taking the lid off of the pumpkin, so I've kind of gone ahead and got started. So this side's already complete, but I've scored it too, just to give me an idea. And this pumpkin, I don't know if it's just really ripe or this pumpkin in particular is really easy to carve, but it's not like you know, the pumpkins that you buy for carving on Halloween. Those are a little more difficult, or maybe it's this knife is just really good, I don't know. But what I'm gonna do here, actually what my mom is making this year, she makes every year actually, you take the top off, you keep the pumpkin intact, you make some rice like you normally would. I'm not talking about sticky rice or plain white rice. I'm talking about rice that you kind of toast in butter before you add the water. You cook it halfway, as in the cooking process should not be done. Then you mix it with some cranberries, raisins, honey, salt, and it's half cooked at that point. You put it in the pumpkin and then you bake the pumpkin in the oven with the top on with foil. And then the rice finishes cooking in the oven like that. And at the same time, the pumpkin cooks, and so do the cranberries and raisins. They start puffing up and they cook through and become soft, and that's served right out of the pumpkin. So it's festive. You might not think that it does kind of get like a pumpkin essence flavor. So try it out because it's really cute. I mean, it's like the pumpkin serves as a bowl, and it's festive, and it's your centerpiece, and it's food. So you can use the pumpkin seeds for a variety of things. Like you could even just make pumpkin salted seeds. I'm just gonna discard them, I don't need them. But look how gorgeous the color of that pumpkin is inside. Do you see that? Anyway, so I'm just gonna scoop this out, make this really clean, rinse it really quick, and then I'll show you what to do next. So go ahead, give it a try. It's gonna be really interesting. I mean, definitely it's something different probably that you haven't tried before. If you have, tell me what you think. But that's pretty much it. I'll try to put some like in the description box some tips on how to do that, how to execute the process, and let me know what you think if you do try it.